it's Carrie Louise, and today we are making sun-dried tomato pasta salad. It's pretty easy, and it's pretty yummy, and it's pretty healthy, I think. So, start out. I'm not going to give you exact amounts because you're going to do what you want to do for your salad, but approximately what I'm doing now. I got about a pound of pasta. Ooh, I prefer a penne. Olive oil, basil. You can do dried or fresh. I prefer dried. I have it more on hand, and I don't know, I like the taste better. We got broccoli, salt, garlic. I got 3 cloves here. Walnuts, I prefer toasted. These are a little more on the burnt side than what I normally prefer, but you know, whatever. A Parmesan-type cheese or Romano-type cheese. I prefer the actual stuff, not the stuff in the shaker. You know what I'm talking about. And of course, the namesake sun-dried tomatoes. You can do the sun-dried tomatoes in olive oil, or like I have here, the dried stuff, the just plain dried stuff. These are already cut up. These are easy to put in. They're like little julienne cuts. So these are easy. Okay, so you're gonna boil your pasta, right? While that's happening, we're gonna start the dressing part of it. You glug some oil in your bowl. Be approximate. Practice. Figure out what works for you. Then we're gonna do salt. We'll see how that works. You can always adjust it. Then the dried basil. If you were doing fresh basil, I would do that at the end so that the cooked pasta doesn't, mess with it too much. We'll let that kind of marinate. You can do pepper if you want. I'm not a huge fan of it with this, but that's up to you. And then garlic, preferably fresh, that you chop.
There is science out there that shows that heating garlic immediately after crushing or mincing it can destroy some of the healthy and healing enzymes in garlic. But if you let it stand 10 minutes before cooking with minced garlic, some of those health benefits are saved. The more you know, right?
Now for your broccoli, I prefer to use frozen. You can also use fresh, of course, but make sure they're chopped into bite-sized pieces. This broccoli comes in bite-sized pieces. It was frozen. I just like frozen because then I have it on hand. But if it is frozen, I recommend thawing it out first, but you don't have to. The reason I would thaw it out is it speeds up the cooking process a little bit. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna throw the broccoli in about 2 minutes before the pasta's finished, along with the sun-dried tomatoes if they're not in oil. If the sun-dried tomatoes are in oil, you can just throw them in with the dressing part of it. But if the broccoli is frozen, it'll cool down the water a lot more, and it'll take a little bit longer to come back to boiling. But really with the broccoli, all you wanna do is brighten it up. You just wanna cook it a little bit so it's not quite completely raw. I don't happen to have as much broccoli as I would normally put for this because I don't know, well, I guess we've eaten all our broccoli. So I have some spinach that I will put in at the end if it seems like I want more of a green vegetable in it. There's maybe about 2 minutes left with the pasta, so I'm going to put in the broccoli. And the sun-dried tomatoes. Again, put in what you want. A serving size, according to this package, is a tablespoon. I like them more than that. If you are gonna do the oil ones, I believe those are usually cut up, so you won't have to worry too much about sizes for your sun-dried tomatoes. If you're gonna do the dried ones like what I have, often I get them their whole halves. So I just cut them up when I put them in here into kind of a julienne sliver. These you don't need it for these. Now the pasta's done, the broccoli's a nice bright green, and the sun-dried tomatoes are soft. I think we can drain this. Dump in your walnuts. Because remember, you got the dressing in there. Now this, oh, that smells so good, the garlic. Oh my gosh. That warm pasta on that garlic. Oh, so good. Now, if you're mixing it up and you're like, oh, this seems kind of dry, or I don't see a lot of the basil in here or whatever, taste it. See if it needs more salt, more basil, more oil. You can still adjust at this point. Now I'm looking at it. Can you see it? I'm going to tip this right here. Ah! I would like more green. It's not too bad. But since I have it, I'm going to cut up the spinach and add it. This would also be the point if you're doing fresh basil, you would put it in. I just don't want that in too early because that will look kind of brown with the warm pasta. All right, let's taste it. Much more salt. I'm gonna do more basil and oil too. Using a gluten-free pasta, and sometimes that just seems to suck up all the liquid when you put it in the dressing. There we go. Now's the point. You can grate the cheese. You can either put it in now and mix it all in, or you can top it with it when you serve, or you can do both. There it is, sun-dried tomato pasta salad. This is good for a weeknight. This is good for leftovers, for lunches to take easy. You don't really have to store it in the fridge if you don't have great access to it. Potlucks, oh, who doesn't like a pasta salad at a potluck? I recommend you give it a try. I will put the recipe, as it were, the ingredients down below for you, all right? Toodles!